Good morning, traders. Sasha here, and it's Wednesday, April 7th, 11:47. Market is still open for another hour and 37 minutes. Quick disclaimer that this is just how I see the markets. This is not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any securities. So we're going to go over a couple of stocks here today. We're just going to go over a couple of stocks to see how you can learn basically to analyze the stocks same as I'm doing. So let's get started. We're going to start with AirCanada today. As per usual, it's my favorite one because it's my favorite company. I pointed out that market was in this triangle here. It was basically, the market was in this consolidation mode, and then on Friday we received this beautiful signal here telling us that the market is going to continue on in the bullish movement. We can see clearly here that the market is moving in a bullish direction here. And how do we basically know where to stop or how far to go with the market, or when we get these kind of signals? You can use it basically for long-term or short-term trading, however you prefer. Like if you are an investor, you can basically look at the weekly charts and then make a decision based on same exact points as I'm giving you right now. So I usually look at the daily charts. I'm looking to get maximum profits in a few days trading. I am a swing trader, and I look for opportunities on a daily basis, and then I look for opportunity to stay in a trade for as long as a week. And I don't jump into conclusions. I only read the charts, and all these analysis are basically my analysis only. So after receiving this beautiful pin bar on Friday and confirming this slope here that we had, this support that was created by this triangle here, we had a movement of one candle, then two candles, and I told you, I believe yesterday or two days before, that our target is $28. And that's where we are right now. How did I manage to figure that out? Well, we always look into the past. Okay, we can see in the past that the market was stalling in this area here. This was about 2790 area, but here we can clearly see this peak, and I'm always looking for these peaks which are very, very significant because the market bounced off of it really hard. Okay, these little ones are good for the daily basis, right? But making a decision where the market might stop after we receive a good signal is, we are looking always for these like a huge bounces off the certain areas, and this is 28, 23 area where the market bounced before, and then we came down. We had this boxing right here. This was a boxing for a while, so market was basically stranded inside this, okay, or consolidated. We also know that we can trade these bounces from the bottom and take profits on the top of these boxes, and then once the market broke out, we had this beautiful continuation of the move basically. So if we look at the what happened on this market, basically this was the previous higher high. This is where the market stopped in recent past, where it was really impressive or possible for us to know how far the market can go. Now we also take the same measurements into effect right now, because after bounce of this area here, of this triangle support, right, with this beautiful pin bar, okay, market, we were expecting it to come all the way to that area, to this $28 area, and basically I call it area because it never stops exactly to the point. And this is exactly what's happening right now. It's 11:52. We have 1 hour and 32 minutes, as you can see here on the clock, for the market to close. And we are basically rejecting this 28 area, which means that the traders reached the point that they wanted to. And now a decision is going to be made at that area because of this peak before. Okay, are we going to proceed towards the 31 19 area like we had this peak right here? Okay, So now this decision is being made. All right, what's happening basically, what I'm expecting for the market to do is there's two options here. Okay, tomorrow we can basically break out right here, had a quick pullback on a smaller time frame, and get a nice signal here to continue on and continue higher because we are in a bullish move. Second option is the market to fall. As you can see here, this peak right there, because this was the beginning or the highest point of this triangle here. So if we look at this triangle here, okay, this was the highest point of the triangle here. All right, that was the highest point. That also corresponds to this body of this candle and this one here and this one here. And we know the market stalled at that area, right? If I pull the line through that area, okay, we can see that the market broke through that very easily here after this beautiful signal here. But we also can see in the past that we had once stalled. We came to that point and stopped. Then the bears or sellers came into play and then pushed the market back. So market was not able to break out and give us more profit after this area, right? Then we had another one. This was a nice, beautiful pin bar, signaling to us that the market is ready to continue on, and that's exactly what happened after that. So, but we have 1, 2, 3 candles that are showing us here that only wicks passed through that point, through this line, and bodies were all unable to move on. They're all below this line. We can also see that this candle here, the pin bar, look alike. It's not a real pin bar because the body is not within the previous candle. All right, so also had a rejection of this level here, okay, and then the bears took it down all the way to this 25-50 area, right here. When this triangle started to form after this move to the downside, profit-taking market took us up and created this high. This is the high, right, which pretty much corresponds to these top of these candles here. So we can see that this area is actually very significant. Why am I explaining this to you? Well, this is the reason why. Because we reached this target, which was $28, 28 area, somewhere there, okay? Market is pulling back because it already reached where it needs to go because of this high here. So we know that this is a good resistance area, all right? So now what I'm expecting for the market to do is to come back to this line. This is why I'm trying to explain to you this whole point of looking towards the left, what the market did before, okay? So we can see that this mark right here is actually could be a good area to look for a continuation of the market. So if the market comes down here, retests this black line here, we could have a nice signal from there to bounce and break out onto this side and move on to 31.19 area. This is the whole explanation for this black line right here. Let me just clear, and then if I move this line right here, we can clearly see that this corresponds to these areas, right? We can see it here. You can see now that this line corresponds to these areas that I was explaining to you. It also corresponds to this high right here. It also corresponds to this rejection of this area with this candle here. So what I would like for the market to do is to come down here, retest this area, all right, this 27.32 area, and give us a nice signal here before moving on into a positive once again, all right. We do have to be careful once again, this peak here, so 28 area would be a significant for us to look for. If the market stalls again and give us this double top, market could fall even more. However, my prediction is to come back to this 27.32 and just continue on from there. All right, that's one of the theories. And the second one, tomorrow to break out right away, pull back, give us a nice signal from here, so 28 area, and move on from there. We know that we are in a bullish move. We know the trend is to the upside, and we are looking for the trades to go along from this point on. So that's how I see AirCanada right now. It's doing very well. It reached the point where I was expecting it to do. It reached the target at $28 and some 28.50, I think it was the area where it stopped. Okay, moving on to Tesla, and Tesla is very interesting because right now, if we look at the chart on Tesla, we can see now that we finally are getting some of these areas where we can reference for us to actually take the trades. And if we look backwards, if we look in the past, we can see that we marked this area here, and it was a reason because this was the highest high that was created at one point, and the market broke out, then rejected it once, and then the bulls jumped in and gave us another here inside bar. After the break of that inside bar, the market just moved on to the upside. It was a nice move. Okay. Along the way, we are creating this higher highs and higher lows. And once we reach this 880 area right here, as you can see, this is 880 area, we created this high or this top, right? And then we can see, let me just clean this here. Once we reach this top here, you can see the top right there. So the body of the candle closed right there, all right? We can see that market went sideways. It was just basically going sideways. And then another attempt by bulls was made to go through that area, and it was not possible to do it. 880 seems to be a strong resistance for this stock. So basically the body of this candle again closed below. As you can see, they match exactly to the same point. All right, so I'm going to mark that one here. Important for us to know. Only wick went through. Then we had this inside bar, and we know when the inside bar is broken, basically bottom was broken, the market took down and people started taking profits. All right, as we came down, we see that market stalled here before, and now we stalled once, twice, 3 times at the same levels, right? So it's appropriate for us to mark this area as well, because we know that market will be stalling in the future. So we had a nice bounce from here, and market came down, came up again to 880 again, and you can see that the wick of this candle, the top, is right exactly where these two bodies stopped. And we know that this is a very significant area now for this market. 880 is the market's resistance that needs to be broken in order for the market to continue on if we are expecting to come to the $1,000 mark. So this was another top that was created here, and then the market did a little dip here and started going up again, came very close to this 880, which is we call a double top. And after this double top, actually we have 1, 2, 3, 4 tops, but these two happened run after the other, and the market just dropped. All right, as we are going down, we are creating these highs and we are creating these lows, and they pretty much correspond to these lows, and these rejection here is very similar to this high that was created here. So the market dropped, came down to this 608 area, found support finally, and we know that we marked this area before. We know that there was a struggle at this area for the market to go on, and the market stopped there. You can see that it stopped right there, okay, and then the bulls came in and play and then pushed the market up. All right, once this was up, the tops of these candles, bodies of these candles, finished at 717.66. Okay, look where this candle stops. The wick stops right on top here. So we know that this is a good resistance, 717. And then we have a double top right here. The market just came close, and then right after this kind of a U-turn, it just dropped again. And then we have this candle stops pretty much at 608.08. Then we have a rejection. Then we have another rejection with the pin bar. Okay, since we know that the bears are still present in this area, I wouldn't be taking the trade on this just one little pin bar that happened right at this area. Okay, I would wait for another confirmation, and guess what? The next day we have this beautiful engulfing bar that tells us, hey, you know, you can jump in a trade now, you know, now it's time for us to continue on taking profit. And then after the break of the top of that candle at 640, we went almost to 717 area right here, which corresponds to this stop here and this stop here and this stops here. And you have a big picture now. We know that 717 is a huge resistance now for us to break out. So this is how you analyze the market. You can see how everything's basically opening up in front of you, and why we need these previous levels that we mark as we go along. Okay, so now we can see that this top here and this top here and this here is basically corresponds to these areas here and these areas here and these areas here. So what we can expect for the market to do is to come down to this area, which is about 650, around 650, okay, and then give us another signal if the bulls are strong enough to continue on, to break out of this 717 in order to continue in a bullish move. So this is what I'm looking at Tesla at the moment. So two options basically. You can either bounce off 650 or 608, one of those two. The market will show us its hand at the moment. The bears are still pretty strong, and we know that we are now basically in this consolidation area. This is basically consolidation area. We have this box. Let me just clear this. It's more easier to understand what I'm saying. Okay, we are in this boxing area, guys. We are in this boxing area right now. Market is boxed. It's basically going sideways. This is a consolidation. Okay, we are going sideways, and as I say, we get the opportunities to buy into the market at the bottoms of these boxes. Okay, this was a fake out here, so that didn't work out. The market did not continue on to 467. We had two clear signals here that the market is ready to continue on in a bullish move, because we know that we are in a bullish trend on this market. We have a clear support area. We can see it. Okay, you can see it for yourself, and we have the signal. So three things come together, and we have a trade. So we have a trend, which is very obvious from left to right. We can see the market is climbing. We have a support and resistance area. In this case, this is a support area. We know the market is being supported because it's coming down, so it's going to bounce from one of these areas, and it finally found the bottom here at that area. And the third one is the signal. Signal was given twice. We got the pin bar and then the engulfing bar, and then after that we had the market move, which was almost 100 points from that area. So three things come into play. It's the trend, it's the support and resistance, and it's the signal, guys. Three things, so simple, no indicators, no craziness on the charts. That's just basically how you read it, and you are going to be in a positive many times if you learn how to do this kind of stuff. Okay, let's move on. I'm gonna move on to Royal Bank, and we can see what happened here with the Royal Bank. I'm gonna clean this blue line here because it's very confusing. I'm gonna show you why. Because before, on the weekly chart, we can take a look at these two peaks right there. You can see one here and one here, and that was on the weekly chart. That was the area of resistance. Market came twice very close to that area. That's why this red line is located right there, because it's showing what happened on the weekly chart. The higher the time frame, so basically weekly has more advantage over daily. So we are looking at the weekly charts in order to make some good decisions. Also, monthly chart, once a month you look at the monthly chart to see where the market is located. Okay, so the red line is more important than these two little peaks that were happening here on a daily chart. Okay, do not ignore those or disregard them, but I would go with the weekly chart always over daily charts. Anyways, we had the breakout, we had the pullback, we had the struggle here, we had this candle right here that was, let's mark it. We had this indecision candle that was located right there. That was a nice doji mark, right? And then we had inside bar, and then after this inside bar, the top of this candle here that was housing this inside bar was broken, all right, with this one here, okay? And then on a smaller time frame, we had a better signal for entry, and the market took off. All right. We also, on the way as the market was going up, we marked these levels because it's very important for us to know where the market stopped before. And now this is 113.38 area that we are looking into, maybe somewhere for the future. What happened after that? Market moved on and came to this 117 area. Okay. What happened here? We this candle here, let me just enlarge this so you can see it better. So what we can see here, the market came to this point here. All right, it created this nice pin bar here. This is kind of a this is not really a sell pin bar because we don't have anything to rely or relate to in the past, so we don't know if this would be the valid pin bar. But if you look in the structure of the pin bar, that's definitely a valid pin bar. The body of the pin bar is located within the previous candle, not the body, within the previous candle. Okay, so the whole candle, wick and the body together. All right, so that's the definition of the proper pin bar, and this is a proper pin bar. However, we had no resistance to rely on, so this could be just a continuation from there. We have nothing to fall on from the history. After that, so we created this high. This is a very important thing to know. Now we know the high, okay? After that, the candles fell down and we stopped here and we climbed from there again. So now look what's happening, right? So bulls took over from here, from this area here. Again, no reference in the past, so we can't just jump into the conclusions that this is again, this is a valid pin bar here, but we don't have any support level that it will tell us yes, jump into this trade. Okay, but what we know now, we know that this is a bottom. This is one of the support areas, and this is the high. This is a resistance area. Now we have this little kind of a space in between these two lines. All right, then the market took off. All right, and this is on a daily basis, so each candle is 1 day. All right, we come to this level here, but look what happens with this candle here. Okay, the bulls were strong. They were trying to push above this 117, and they did. They managed to do it. However, the bears are not letting price go higher than that, so they close the body of the candle below that area. Whoops. And that's a very important information for me if I'm going to continue the trade, right? If I'm going to continue on going long, all right? So if you were in a trade from here, this is telling you now that this area is being rejected by bulls because the bears are stronger, right, at this area. So the fight is happening now at this 117.23. So now we know either we are going to hold on to our bullish move that we already decided to go from for 109, or we are going to take a partial profits at this area here and see what the market does after that, right? And market rejected it, so it comes down here and we have this a little higher high. So these are the clues that the market might continue in a bullish movement because we have a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Okay, so that's the definition of market in the bullish move. However, the market is stalling at this 117.23 and we are going again to that area, and look where the bullish candle comes here. It just peaks on the other side with this little wick right there, and this 117.23 is not broken again. The body is closed underneath. All right, and this is another clue for us to take some profits at this area and wait for the market to tell us what's going to happen. The next candle, very powerful. Now that we know that 117.23 is such a huge resistance happening for bulls, we get this beautiful pin bar telling us, hey guys, I think it's time for you to take some profits there, you know what I mean, and just wait out to see, you know, how strong the companies are going to be to invest more into this bank. And after this pin bar, of course, bottom was broken right there, and we have this huge sell bar right there coming down. But where does it stop? Well, look at these bottoms here. They correspond exactly to that area here, and then this is where this stops, and this is where the bulls jump into place. So this is becoming more significant support for us than this one here. Okay, so now when we look at the picture and what's going on the market with this Royal Bank thing, is basically we have this area of consolidation. This is consolidation, guys. We are in this box here. This is consolidation again. And what happens when we have consolidation? Well, the market has to do two things, all right? It's either going to, this is the box that I'm talking about, okay? So we can see it. It's either going to break out, pull back, retest this area, and give us a nice signal for continuation, or it's going to break below, okay, of this box, again retest, and then come down to this 109 area, retest this area to show us if it's strong enough to continue on from there if the bulls jump into trade. Okay, well, we have this kind of a very short consolidation or very narrow consolidation. I would not suggest jumping into trades because these areas are very unreliable. It doesn't matter what kind of signals you're getting inside. This is too narrow of the area for us to jump into conclusions where the market is going. So it has to either do two things. It has to break out to the upside or break to the downside and give us a clear clue what's going to happen. So at the moment, Royal Bank, even though if you go on a stock screener, it will tell you it's a strong buy, I would say and suggest stop, wait for the market to tell you what to do and where it's going from there. Okay, so that's how I see Royal Bank. All right, moving on. So let's see a TD Bank. We are on a daily chart here, guys. And if I squeeze the chart here, we can see that this highest peak right here was also probably on the weekly chart as well. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Yeah, we can see it on the weekly chart that this was the highest peak that we had right there. The market finally broke out of here or out of this area now. And then what's happening here, I'm going to go on a daily to explain to you what it is. So this $80 area was broken out and we reached this $83 area. Okay, so what we have here now is basically we had a breakout, pullback, continuation. We created this high. This high was at 83.76. What happened there? Basically we came down again to that area. Market stalled here, only wick went through. Then the bears are showing their hand and they're not letting the price go higher. And if we look at the top of this candle here, all right, this bearish candle, this new bullish candle that's being developed and kind of breaking out of this area, it's actually an inside bar, very much indecision candle here. Are we going to break out? We need a clear breakout out of this area in order for us to continue on long on the TD. All right, so this top of this red candle is not still broken, which means that this candle is inside. And what it means, inside candle, means for us basically that this is an indecision and we need for market to give us a clear signal of the breakout, pullback, extension. All right, so that's what we're waiting for. And if it's not strong enough, it will fall down. As we can see here, this area here is quite significant. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5, 6 days of trading at that area that was not able to break below back to 80. So it's either going to give us a good strong signal that we can continue on in a bullish move, or either going to fall to $82, or I would prefer to come down to $80 and give us a better entry here and confirm that this area of $80 is actually strong enough to hold and for us to move on in a bullish move. Okay, so that's basically what it is, which also points to me that this could be this kind of a movement sideways. Okay, and when I explained consolidation before, we know that every consolidation has a top and has a bottom and also has a middle, and this is the middle right there. Okay, this is the middle that's been formed. Making a decision to trade off of these middle areas are very, very risky. So we need actually confirmed areas like this. We know that area of this $80 is actually confirmation for us that market is going to continue on. So if it bounces from here, I have a more confirmation than bouncing from the middle of this. Or if it breaks above and give us the signal that $83 area is actually strong enough, then we can move on into bullish move. Okay, making decisions of these middle areas, it's not advisable at all. All right, so this is how I see TD Bank. All right, and continue on. We are looking at the Bank of Nova Scotia. All right, if we look at on the Bank of Nova Scotia, we can see a couple things here. Okay, and this is that this top was created not long ago. This is on a weekly chart. Then we had this peak, and then we had this peak. So double top here, and the market fell. Okay, so we know that this was a significant resistance. Market is finally above this area here, and it's slowly coming down to this area 76.42 to retest. So until we get some clear pointer that market is going to be strong enough to bounce from there and go into bullish move, I would hold off with the stock. We know that this area is very significant for stalling as a support and resistance, so I would expect for the market to bounce from there, but if it doesn't, well, it has to give us some kind of a clear indication where it can go. With this stock, Bank of Nova Scotia, I would be very careful what I'm deciding to do, and the reason for that is if we look at these areas, I'm just going to quickly mark here. You have to watch for these areas here. So that's a 78, 19 area. Then we had this huge rejections here at this area here. We had a rejection right there. We had a rejection right here. So $80 area. So there's a lot of obstacles in our way before we would actually reach this top right here. And I'm just going to mark them quickly so you can see them. And so what I see on this market basically is it's a lot of obstacles actually for us to reach this $85. I would pretty much stay away from this stock for now and see, what happens. Actually, if I get some clear signal here from $76, I could take it back to this $80 area. So you would have like a $4 profit, but be very aware of these areas. Look how many stops we had. Basically, this was a consolidation move happening there, and consolidations are very dangerous territories for stocks or anything trading inside there. Moving on to BMO. Clear charts. I'm just going to quickly go over how I, analyze the chart, and we can see on a weekly chart, this was the highest peak right there. Now it's marked, this is the highest peak. So we have the resistance area that was created at 109.12. Basically, and then we had a breakout out of this area. We can see it clearly, there was a breakout. We can also see the market is in a bullish move right there. Of course, we are now above 109.12. Let me go down now to, let's say, 4 hours to see what happened with the breakout there. And here we go. You can see it, guys. This is how it happens all the time. I'm not going to bullshit too much, but you can see it exactly and clearly where the entry for this trade was happening. And let me just enlarge the chart, and you can see it clearly here. And I'm just going to mark it for you for those of you that are new to this channel. Basically, we had this breakout. This was a clear breakout. The candle was on the other side. It closed. We have the bullish movement. We know the bulls are in control. The market came down, as I always explain. Okay, so we have the trend. We have the clear resistance that turned support because the market is now above, so it's supporting this area. We had one bounce and rejection of this area here. Then we had a second bounce here. The bears were trying to push the price down. They closed it a little bit below this 109.12. And then look at this beautiful signal that was given to us with this bullish candle. And after that candle was given for us, we have this beautiful bullish move all the way to 113.98 area, 114 area, where we are located right now. We can see that this is the top now, and the market is trading at that area here. So until this 114 area is broken out and give us a signal of continuation, we have no movement at the moment. All right. So look at the signal, guys. This is the signal I'm talking about. three things that need to happen in order for us to trade is the trend, is the support and resistance, and we have a confirmation of that support and resistance with a signal given, and we just move on. So that's it for today's video. I hope you learned something new. I went over a couple of bank stocks as well as the AirCanada stock and Tesla, and now I hopefully understand more how the technical trading is done. As you can see, none of my charts has any indicators on. Oscillators, I have no MACDs, RSIs, stochastics. I don't have any moving averages. I don't use any of that. I just use clear support and resistance area. And I look for three things in order for me to make a decision to get into trade. And those are the trend, support and resistance, and the signal, and which we see on every single chart. The most important thing to take out of all these trading techniques is patience. Guys, you have to have patience. If you don't have a clear signal what's going on, do not jump into conclusions. Market will actually tell you, it speaks to us through the candles, where it's going to go. So be patient and you will be profitable. If you're not, then that's where you're going to lose money. All right. And money management is the most important thing, knowing where to take the trades out. And I already show you how many times how to predict how far the market will go, where it can stall. Look for those peaks on your left side of the chart and always make decisions based on that. How you are going to react when the market reaches that kind of a point. Are you going to take a partial profits, or are you going to let it run and maybe tighten your stops if you're trading off the charts, and so on and so forth. This is for me for today. It's April 7th and it's 12:27 in the afternoon. I made it a bit longer video, but it's a lot of explanation over here to be done, and I hope you understand it. I hope you like it. I like the videos. Please, if you do like it, please click that like button, and that brings more people to my channel. Also, please do subscribe if you're not subscribed yet to my channel to get all these updates. I do updates on the videos when there's something to be reported, and I also do every single video as an educational video. You learn as we go along, and I learn together with you. So have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. This is Sasha. Peace out.